This is part 3 of a 4-part story. It's called Going to Town. 6 of us boys decided that we'd go to town, so we called up a taxi. When the taxi pulled up, the driver stuck his head out of the window and said, "Where are you likely to go?" Ralph, one of the older boys, said, "Drop us off where the action is." "Not to the problem. We're overloaded, so if you see the cops, you keep your head down or I'll lose my license." The taxi driver drops us off in Cabramatta's main street. There's not much happening, so we buy some milkshakes and walk up and down the street looking in the shop windows. When we come to another cafe, I go inside and buy myself 2 2-ounce packets of Havelock tobacco. I can't pass it up because it only costs 7 Aussie bob a packet. I see an army disposal store and I go in. I know exactly what I'm looking for. When I entered, the shopkeeper said, "G'day, mate. What can I do you for?" "I'm looking for a sheath knife." "No worries, mate. I got sheath knives coming out of the yazoo. Have a captain cook at some of these, sport. You're bound to find a beaut in that case. Give us a holler if you need some help." After looking round for a while, I said to him, "I'll take this one." "That's a good-looking knife, sport. She's got a beaut blade on her. That'll set you back 2 quid, mate." I pay the man his £2, which leaves me with 15 shillings to my name. "Look after yourself, mate, and don't get that knife tangled up with a dago." "What's a dago?" The shopkeeper said, "Christ, mate, where the bloody hell have you been all your life? Did you just arrive on the last boat?" "Yes, I've only been in Australia for 2 days." "God's truth, mate, you pommies are coming out here younger every year. I suppose you all work up at the Big Brother's dairy farm, do you?" "Yeah, there's 16 of us." "Well, sport," said the dago. "Well, sport, a dago is a Greek, and another name for 'em is a grill." "Why do you call 'em those names?" "'Cause at the end of the day's work they say, 'Dago.' And most of them work the milk bars, and they're always grilling something or other, so that's where they get the name grills from. You see, sport? Now, we've also got a lot of Italians in this great country of ours, so we call them wops, and the abbas are called bungs, because if you hit them with the rhubarb of the truck, they make the sound bung. You get it, Cobber?" He has a good laugh to himself. "Now, take you English gentlemen. In our country, we don't recognise your class system, so we call you blokes limeys, or better still, pommy bastards, 'cause you got skin like pomegranates." He laughs his head off again. "Thanks for the information. Here, sport. See you around like a rissole." We boys are sitting around on a couple of street benches outside the post office. It's 9:30 at night. The year is 1964. The local kids are tearing up and down the streets in their hotted-up Holden cars. A couple of young girls are walking down the street in their stiletto heel boots and high-top skirts. They're absorbed in conversation as they come near to the benches that we're sitting on. Peter, one of the oldest of our crew, said, "Hello, darlings. Where are you 2 lovelies going?" The first girl said, "Reach your fucking boot, you pommy bastard." "Charming, I must say," said Peter. The second girl said, "Fuck you, you pommy bastard." "You're a real charmer with the ladies, Peter. How would you like to take those 2 home and introduce them to your mum?" "Not bloody likely. I hope that's not an example of the everyday Aussie chick." It's getting late, so we call a taxi service and head back out to the farm. We all pile out of the taxi and pay off the driver. Ralph said, "Look what I found in town." He opened a brown paper bag and pulls out a small box of fireworks. "You better not let Bill Defoe see those, Ralph, or he will kick your ass." "Bollocks to Bill Defoe. There's no bangers. They're only fizzes and Catherine wheels." Ralph walks over to the fence and stuck a couple of fountains in the cracks of the fence post. Then he pins 4 Catherine wheels to the fence post and lights them all at once. After the fireworks had gone out, Ralph said, "That's it. Show's over. Let's go to bed. I'm knackered and we've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning." The next morning, Defoe comes striding into the Nissen hut. "Get out of those fart sacks, you pommy fucking bastards. Who the hell was setting off fireworks last night?" Ralph, pulling the bed covers off his head. "I was." "Why? What do you want shouting your head off at this time of night?" "Get out of that bed, you fucking yobbo, before I piss all over you." He grabs Ralph's bed covers and rips them clean off the bed, revealing Ralph's scrawny body, curled up in the fetal position. "Get your plates of meat on the deck, boy, before I chuck a bucket of water on you," Ralph said. "What's the matter?" "I'll show you what's the bloody matter, sport. Put your boots on and come with me." "What about me clothes?" said Ralph. "Fuck your clothes. You got fuck all to brag about anyway. Come on, hurry up." Ralph puts his boots on and follows Defoe out of the hut. He walks over to the fence post where Ralph had set off the fireworks. We all follow outside. I see what made Defoe mad. Grey smoke was drifting out of the fence post. The whole top of the post is now a large piece of black charcoal. "Oh, shit," said Ralph. "You stupid pommy bastard, look what you done to me fence post. Had you have done that in dry bush country, we'd have a bloody bushfire on our hands now, mate. If you had another brain in your head, lad, it'd be fucking lonely, you silly yahoo bastard. Now go and get your strides on, and after breakfast, I'll show you where the fence posts are kept. You can dig that bastard out and stick a new one in. Then I'll show you how to restrain the fence back up." Ralph is standing in his boots and underpants, looking half asleep, so Defoe kicked him in the ass. "Wake up to yourself, you sleepy pommy bastard. Go and get some gear on." Ralph gives Defoe a dirty look and takes off at the double back to the hut to put his working gear on. As he walked away, I heard him yell at the top of his voice, "Dave, come here, you curly-headed fucking pufter. I got a job for you, mate." As the days went by, Bill Defoe kept getting phone calls from Mr. Mansell, the Aussie director of the Big Brother movement. Each time he got a phone call, a few more boys were shipped out until only 2 of us remained, me and Morris. One day I said to Bill, "What about me and Morris, Bill? Haven't you got a place for us to go to yet?" "You sure you won't change your mind about going in the army, Yorkie?" "Quite sure, Bill. I'm itching to get out to the bush. I've been looking forward to that for 2 years now." "All right, mate," he said. "You're old enough to leave home, so I guess you're old enough to make decisions for yourself. You and Ugly Morris will be leaving tomorrow morning, so you better roll your swag bright and early." He walked away, resigned to the fact that army life was not for me. It was difficult for me to sleep that evening, because all I could think of was red dust and kangaroos. When morning finally came, I was packed up within half an hour, so I made my way across to the kitchen for some breakfast. After breakfast, we said goodbye to the cook and went back to the Nissen hut. Before long, Bill Defoe came through the doorway and said, "Here's your ticket, Morris. There's 5 quid for your start in life. Here's your ticket, Yorkie. And here's a 5er, mate. Make sure you look after it, 'cause you'll have to work bloody hard in the bush for a fiver." "Thanks, Bill," I said. "You're a real good bloke. You really helped me a lot since I've been here." "Reach your boot, Yorkie," he said, with a slight waver in his voice. "Your train leaves at 2 o'clock from Sydney Central, so don't go fucking around Sydney and miss 'em, or you'll be sleeping on the station all night." An hour or so later, one of the jackaroos loaded our cases into his car and drove us both down to Cabramatta station. And before long, Morris and I were humping our cases onto Central Station platform. That was part 3. Part 4, taking a train to the outback.